Our next question comes from Nil Patel.
Hey Rajan, so my name is Nil Patel. I'm a third year BBA finance student and currently a senior associate at Finance Association. And good seeing you again. So my question to you is that you said writing and communication is very important. And I want to ask you what kind of advice or tips you have for students and professionals to get better at it or to practice more of it.
To write, that's how you would get better at writing. And then to, as far as communication, what you've just done now, you've got to put yourself out there. And I think that's the chasm that needs to be, I had to do it, by the way, so I'm not criticizing. That's the chasm that needs to be crossed or jumped for graduating students. The next layer of your skill development is not in a book. It's not in a course. It's not at your school. You're all in phenomenal educational institutions, and what your professors and your leaders and those organizations have done, they've tried to teach you how to learn, and they've tried to show you that your brain is really plastic and it's moldable, it's malleable, and you need to always be building skills. But you've got to put yourself out there and you've got to do it. So from a writing perspective, you've got to write, and then you got to ask for feedback. So you've got to go to and then build up a network of people that you trust to give you feedback. I often tell the story that for me, and I blame myself probably more than the education system, I was a terrible writer. I was a really terrible writer. And what made me a better writer was the GMAT, because I would write the GMAT and I would get these terrible scores on the GMAT test. I'd be like, well, what is this? And I realized that I fundamentally did not know how to write. So I made myself study writing, and I studied the mechanics of writing, and I asked for feedback. And the funny thing is, I probably should have paid more attention to math, because I scored in the top 5 percentile when I actually did the GMAT of writing, and I got a perfect score in the essay portion. I don't know if there's an essay portion now, twice. And you might be like, well, why did you have to write the GMAT twice? Well, because I didn't really study the math the first time around, because I was like, I really got to focus on the writing. So I got like these really great scores on the writing and the English, but my math score was nothing to write home about. So then I had to spend more time on that. It can be done. And since then, the other way, I have to say, sometimes your best mentors can be your colleagues and your friends, and they become really good friends. I worked in equity research, and a lot of that was about writing. And both my direct manager and my manager's manager, they were really good writers. And they would correct my work, and I just learned not to take it personally. And I have to say, in my last job, there's a gentleman who's a phenomenal writer, and I would often correct some of his work, and I felt bad about it. And I said that to him once, and he said, I don't love the edits, but your edits always make my work better. And that's a reflection of his professional maturity. So I still write now. And I work with 2 people who are really good writers. And they provide some feedback. And I'll be honest with you, I usually don't care for the edits, but they're usually spot on, and they come from a good spot. And that's the only way you're going to get better at that type of skill. And also read Tolstoy if you want to know how to tell a story.